war path. The distortion of these accounts about these real perceived and imagined attacks have contributed in no small measure to achieving what the terrorists could not attain with their inhuman acts, which is to sow terror in the hearts of Nigerians. The Save Humanity Advocacy Center, in the course of our work, we have discovered that these manipulative reports about Boko Haram's exploit against the government troop is so distressing as actual attacks on the people, because a lot of people have actually stopped going about their usual activities because of these malicious reports against the military formation of the country. Now, most of the people that we have spoken to in the course of our work, they were able to give certain accounts because all this happened with the fear of these reports, which were found to be false. We have revealed the prevalence of this trend of reporting, and sadly, we've come up with the conclusion that they are promoted by newswires, networks, and publications that are directly or indirectly connected with foreign interests that actively pursue destabilizing the agenda of the country. What appears like objective and factual reporting of the war on terrorism in the country is in reality effective propaganda. This propaganda, they're actually being deployed to strengthen the position of the insurgents. Our position is supported by how these reports practically ignore other variables in the resurgence of Boko Haram and the foreign interests that make this possible. It's of concern that the editorial support from these quarters is somehow connected to intensify the push by the Boko Haram group and also allow them to regroup and return to places where they have been displaced in the past. The points we had made in the past remain relevant to this regard. Failure to address them is in part responsible for our dear country coming the full cycle to a point where a terror group that has been defeated roundly is now being retooled to torment the people of the country. Number one, we want to raise our concerns and allow all that's involved to know about the multinational joint task force comprising of troops from Benin Republic, Cameroon, Chad, Niger, and Nigeria. It's apparent that these countries have not only left the group, they've actually pulled out from the initial agreement that Nigeria and the respective countries had in how to curtail the Boko Haram insurgency. Now, they've left the problem of this monstrous group for Nigerians alone by also allowing this group to train in their territories and also give them time to plan more attacks on the Nigerian soil. The terrorists, they've been allowed free passage to retreat back into these countries after carrying attack on the Nigerian soil. This has left us wondering how much of the behavior of these countries is dictated by their colonial loyalty to France. Even as a member of the MNJTF, these countries have allowed the unrestrained flow of weapons from the Middle East and Libya to Boko Haram insurgents. It will be interesting to learn how these firearms could cross through their countries into the hands of Boko Haram without doing damages in their own territories. The interests of France in the Lake Chad Basin are well documented. Since the prospect of oil exploration in the region improved, the hand of France has become recurrent decimal in the terrorist equation unfolding in the region. Countless times we've seen situations where French nationals have been intercepted among the terror group. And you begin to ask, why are they always there? How did they find themselves there? Now, the news services of the French origin, like the AFP, have been strategic to Boko Haram, being able to release its video without the possibility of being traced. The impressions we have is that there's a sort of partnership or a relationship between AFP and the Boko Haram insurgents, which allows it to run its propaganda. The Newswire has equally perfected its report to present the terrorists as legitimate fighters, whereas the Nigerian populace are the victim here. So, but what we get is a reverse of the reality as being reported by AFP over time. The travesty of this situation is that AFP will never report criminals in such light when it affects France or its allies, those around Africa that are kind of, those that are partially involved or affected with the attacks of the Boko Haram insurgents.